Hello, I'm Susan. I'm with Houston Area Parkinson's Society, and this is another Speech with Susan class. We're going to be working on exercises to improve breath support, voice, strength of voice, swallowing, and a little bit of cognition. Okay, let's get started. First thing we're going to do is an ah sound. We're going to hold it for about 20 seconds. So take a big, deep breath. Here we go. Great. Now let's pause the video and do it about 4 more times. It's real important to try to hold for 20 seconds. If you can hold longer, even better. But this is using the lungs and controlling the breath support with the ah sound, which is good for the strength of the voice. So pause it for about a few seconds or minutes while you do 4 more of these. Very important to do, and these exercises are very good to do every day. Okay, welcome back. I think you may have paused, or we're just going on to the next one. Next part is the high-pitched E, and the reason why we're doing this is it brings the larynx up and it tilts it towards the chin, stretching the vocal cords, thinning them out, giving you that higher pitch range, which is part of our melodic intonation when we're speaking. For instance, when we ask a question, we go up at the end of the question. When we're making a statement, we tilt downward with inflection. So typical of Parkinson's as it progresses is that it becomes monotone, and we want to avoid that. We want to make sure we've got good range of motion of our larynx and the tilting of the larynx so it thins out the vocal cords, giving us higher pitch. So we're going to do it about 5 times, holding for 3 to 5 seconds, and you're going to do as high a pitch as you can. So it's going to be as high, holding it for 3 to 5 seconds, and then doing it right back again. Okay, one right after another. Here we go. Good. Again. 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 Great. Next on the list is the Masako and the Mendelssohn. Have you been to my classes? I teach Parkinson's speech class on Thursdays from 10:30 to 11:30 for Houston Area Parkinson's Society. We always do what's called the Masako and the Mendelssohn. These are exercises for swallowing. As we age and as Parkinson's progresses, the ability to swallow is diminished much more than when we're younger. So, for instance, the Masako is where you're sticking your tongue out between your teeth and your lips, anchoring it there, and swallowing. Difficult to do for the first time because your tongue always goes back towards the posterior pharyngeal wall. Here it is going forward, so that posterior pharyngeal wall has to work a little harder. So it's going to look a lot like this. And if you can notice, there's a little bit of movement in my swallow. That's because the larynx is being moved up. The superior laryngeal muscles are pulling that larynx up. Let me do it again. There we go. Okay, so stop the video and try to do that about 2 to 3, 4, 5 times. And if it's difficult to do a dry swallow, so sometimes you'll have to take a sip of water and then do a normal swallow, then do a dry swallow, which with the residuals that are left in the mouth helps you do a second swallow. So do that. That's the Masako. And then in our class, we always do the Mendelssohn. Mendelssohn is just it's a normal swallow, but what you're doing is you're holding your breath at the highest point, and that's when the epiglottic flap is flipping over your airway. It flips over your airway, you can't breathe, and then food and liquid goes down and opens up the upper esophageal sphincter, and it's kind of pneumatic movement in that it's collapsed, and when it opens up, it's drawing the liquid and food down into the esophagus and then onto the stomach. So it'll look like this. I'm gonna take my glasses off so that you can kind of see a strain in my face when I'm doing it. Okay, I'm gonna do a swallow. And then I'm releasing. So what that's doing is I'm holding it for 3 to 5 seconds at the highest point in the swallow. Epiglottis is flipped over, the airway, can't breathe, so you're holding your breath. And then when it releases, there's air, you're exhaling, air's coming out of your airway. So do that and pause the video, do the Mendelssohn and Masako about 5 times each. Very important to keep up with these exercises, especially for swallowing. And let me tell you a little bit about the shakur swallow. That is where you're laying on a carpeted floor or rug or on a firm bed, and you lift just your head up, keeping your shoulders back on the floor or bed, and looking at your toes and trying to hold for about 20 seconds. That's working all the small muscles that are involved in swallowing. And all these, the Masako, Mendelssohn, and shakur, are named after laryngologists who invented the exercise. So it's one that is, if you do an exercise that's well liked by your colleagues and the health professional, you probably get to name it. Okay, let me explain the next exercise. This one is where you are puckering for about 60 seconds. So you're doing a big kiss, and you hold it for about 50 seconds, and then you're pulling tighter. For the time that we have on this little short video, we're not gonna do it, but I want you to hold your pucker or your kiss for 60 seconds. And then after 60 seconds, and make sure the last 10 seconds you're pulling tighter, then you're switching to a smile. And what you want to feel is that sensation of these muscles being stretched. You're contracting the buccinator muscles, and then you're doing a labial seal. You're closing your lips. Don't show your teeth. And you're holding that for 60 seconds. So now you're working the muscles here, the muscles here. And the purpose of that is as Parkinson's progresses, there is the opportunity that you're not monitoring the buildup of saliva in your mouth, and you start the drooling. So we want to always make sure we have good labial seal, we have good sensation, oral sensation to know to swallow. We produce about 600 milliliters of saliva a day, and we swallow about 1,000 times a day. So as you age, there is less likely that you're swallowing as often, and maybe you're not producing as much saliva, but it's enough that it can easily be drawing. And we start tilting forward as we age, and then there's gravity that pulls it down, and it's just more exacerbated with Parkinson's. So do the pucker and the smile, 60 seconds each, and you can pause the video to do this. Now, let's do another exercise. I want you to turn your chin to your right shoulder, drop your left, pull it back, and we're gonna hold for a few seconds and get a deep turn, chin to the right shoulder. Get a good stretch on that left side, and then a contraction on the right, because once we move to the other side, you're gonna feel that sensation of this stretching and this side contracting, but more often you feel that stretching of the muscles that are contracted. But try to hold for about 20 seconds. Okay, let's do right ear to right shoulder, drop your left, pull it back, chin to 2 o'clock position. And you wanna feel a stretch from the chin tip all the way down, little anterior, all the way to the shoulder, edge of the shoulder. Okay, left ear to left shoulder, drop your right, pull it back, chin at 10 o'clock position. Okay, now just chin to chest, and then you're stretching the back of the neck. Okay, last exercise that we're doing is breathing through the nose, exhaling, and then exhaling through the nose. Keeping the lips sealed, you're just, it's another breath control exercise. So you're gonna inhale, 2, 3, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Great. So we do these exercises. It's best to do them every day, 5 to 10 times a day. Not 5 to 10 times, 5 to 10 times each of the exercises. At least do them once a day. Very good exercises for breath support, strength of voice, swallowing, and now we'll start working on a little bit of cognitive exercises. Let me find my sheet here. Okay, so all these words begin with the letter E. This probably will be pretty simple, but I'm not going to give you much time to answer. So let's see how quickly you can do it. All these answers begin with E. A frame to support an artist's canvas. Easel. An arm joint. Elbow. A precious stone of a deep shade of green. Emerald. A trembling of the earth's surface due to underground disturbances. Earthquake. A repetition of sound off the side of a mountain. Echo. These are moving stairs in a department store or an airport. Escalator. A material that can be stretched and then returned to its original size. Elastic. To get rid of or remove. Eradicate. An unexpected serious situation that requires immediate action. Emergency. This event is conducted to determine who wins a political office. Election. I bet you got those within time. I mean, I just did them quickly because I think they were pretty easy. But it is part of word finding, so if you didn't get it, don't worry about it. We always do a little bit of cognitive exercises in my classes on Thursdays, and from 10:30 to 11:30, they're Zoom classes, and then I always do the videos here. But this is another speech class with Susan. If you have time, go on to HAPS Online. They've got amazing classes. They've got amazing resources and in-person activities. I think they're doing something, they have game nights. But there's also YouTube videos of physical therapy, occupational therapy, other classes for, I think, yoga and Tai Chi, and just many classes. So it's Houston area Parkinson's Society, and it's a great organization where you can get some good information as somebody who has Parkinson's or somebody who is the caregiver of someone with Parkinson's. So until next time, my name is Susan Scoggins. I am a speech pathologist with Houston Area Parkinson's Society, and I am here in Costa Rica. I'm doing this from a Latin American country where I live. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.